It has broken records, attracted mixed reactions and created a lot of buzz online. The conversation between tech billionaire Elon Musk and former US President Donald Trump on social media platform X had Trump talking about everything from illegal immigration, the assassination bid on him, to Kamala Harris, his Democrat rival in the race to the White House. Before I get in my guests, take a look at this report. 3 hours, 998 million views and 4 million posts. The Elon Musk-Donald Trump conversation on social media platform X broke records, provoked reactions, and had the former US president be his quintessential self. After a 45-minute delay owing to what Musk said was a major DDoS cyber attack, the interaction on social media feature Spaces had Donald Trump cover ground on various issues dominating the US presidential elections this year. Hitting out at President Joe Biden and his Democrat rival Kamala Harris, Trump said that she has as low an IQ as the 81-year-old Biden, adding that Biden's exit from the race is nothing but a coup by his own party.
You know, Biden did something with Russia. I thought he was doing that to negotiate. But then Biden started saying such stupid things. For instance, he said that it can be a NATO country. And we go right up front and say that. And we did things and said things through this president with a low IQ, very low IQ. He had a low IQ 30 years ago, by the way, but now he might not even have a IQ at all. There's nothing on the board that goes this low.
On the assassination attempt on him, Donald Trump admitted that he believed in God even more now.
He did say there's a guy up there with a gun. The shooting started very quickly after that. I think it forced the shooter to go maybe quicker. He was supposed to be my sons, Don and Eric, they can't believe what happened. They said from 130 yards, a bad shot would hit that target almost every time. They said it's like in golf, sinking a 2-foot putt.
Yeah, it's not a tough shot.
It's not a long shot. One of the interesting things was that you didn't have anybody flee. You didn't have anybody stampede.
Sure.
Nobody. And there were some people behind me. They stood up and they're looking like, I tell you, you want to have them in a foxhole with you. I want to meet some of those people. But what happened is the firing is very soon. So what they think is that this guy ran to his site, which he had all planned out with a gun. He ran to the site and he started shooting fast, and maybe that's why he missed. He got me, but it could have been a much bigger problem.
But he totally would have hit if you hadn't turned your head. It was a very near thing.
It was a miracle. If I hadn't turned my head, I would not be talking to you right now. As much as I like you,
exactly,
I would not. I would not be talking to you.
You'd be talking to me from another realm, perhaps.
Yeah, that's right. We'd be talking from a different place.
Biden actually did something that was impossible.
Donald Trump directly hit out at Middle Eastern and African countries when Musk asked him about illegal immigration, a subject that has divided Americans and led to widespread protests across the United States in the past year, adding that these countries are opening their prisons into America and sending in criminals.
I believe it's over 20 million people came into our country, many coming from jails, from prisons, from mental institutions, or a bigger version of that is insane asylums, and many are terrorists. And I'll tell you what, they're coming not just from South America, they're coming from Africa, they're coming from all over the world. They're coming from Asia, they're coming from the Middle East, they're coming from countries that are stupidly and horribly bombing Israel October 7th. I hate it, but you have a lot of people that just shouldn't be. I think it's a much bigger number than you think. They're allowing, allowing people from their jails. And if you were running one of these countries where they're coming from, you would have had all of them. But this is a massive scale because this is being done worldwide. But here's what's happening. Crime all over the world is down. And wait till you see the numbers that we have. This is migrant crime.
Even as the two wars continue to rattle the certainty and stability of the world, the Republican asserted that if he were the president, neither the October 7th Hamas attack nor the Ukrainian casualties would have happened.
He said things that were so stupid that war had zero chance of happening if I were there. Zero chance. He was saying everything the opposite. Everything the opposite. And it's so sad because many more people have been killed in Ukraine than you read about. You don't read about how bloody it is and how disaster.
Sure.
Hey, look, just in the two armies, you lost 500,000 people. But if you think about it, Russia's gone, Russia defeated Germany with us, and they defeated Napoleon. They've been around a long time. They're a big fighting force.
Yeah, sure.
And it's very unfair. And Ukraine now doesn't have enough men. They're now using young men and very old men to fight. And we're in a very bad position. And I'm not going to blame exclusively, but I can tell you I could have stopped that. And a smart president could have stopped that. It wouldn't have happened.
Biden actually did something.
Even though the conversation has garnered a lot of reactions, several observers say that it is Donald Trump's reducing popularity in opinion polls that forced him to engage online. The Musk-Trump interaction marks Donald Trump's return to X after nearly a year. Elon Musk has now invited the Kamala campaign on Spaces as well. Whether or not she joins a businessman who is publicly pro-Republican remains to be seen. All right, joining me on the broadcast is Nicole Brenner-Schmitz, Democratic strategist. I'm also joined by Vibhuti Jha, former Republican candidate for the New York Assembly. Good evening and welcome to Mirror Now, both of you. Vibhuti Jha, let me start with you. How do you think the quote-unquote interview of the century went for Donald Trump?
Thank you very much for having me. And, I think this interview went off very well. One of the key things that one has to remember, that this platform was acquired and made private by Elon Musk for exactly the reason that you saw yesterday. Had it been in a previous dispensation, none of it would be happening. Probably you would see a very, very, very friendly conversations with Kamala Harris on Twitter Space. But a couple of things are very important here. This particular thing went off very well. For once, the right of center candidate got a platform to speak, whereas the Democratic Party refuses to even entertain a single conservative channel called Fox. So they have a problem that ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, CNN, the whole world of media gives coverage to the entire left of center ideology. There is one, and they don't want to come on that. And they will not, Kamala Harris will not come on Twitter as well, because they get very soft questions to answer.
Let me take this to Nicole.
This is what is
Vibhuti Jha. Nicole, would you like to respond to Mr. Jha? The fact that Elon Musk has extended an invitation to Kamala Harris. He said that he would love for her to join and have this kind of an interaction with him on Spaces. Would Kamala Harris and the Democratic campaign be willing to join Musk?
Well, I'm not in the campaign headquarters, and I don't know what they're doing right now, but Elon Musk is not a journalist. Kamala Harris is certainly going to be, continuing to talk to the American people with journalists. And it's a shame to hear someone name basically every news station and try to say that it's got a liberal bias. But this is something that the campaign is going to be doing. They're going to be sharing with America at the convention in 2 weeks what their vision is for the next 4 years. And we're absolutely going to have lots of time to ask, the vice president hard-hitting questions, whether it's at a debate stage or it's her doing interviews with real journalists.
Okay, Vibhuti Jha, many suggest that Donald Trump had to do this because he was lagging behind Kamala Harris in the opinion polls as much as at least 2.4 percentage points is what at least the last major opinion polls showed. Do you resonate with that? Do you agree with that, that Donald Trump was forced to engage online because he had to do something about his popularity?
I don't think so. Trump is a persona by himself. He never needed any of these promotions to get out his thoughts and his messages across. But important part here is the Democratic Party, as I often say, are tactically very smart. The entire thing seems to have been managed in such a smart way that people do not have time for Kamala Harris to have participated in a full primary, as the saying goes. She is virtually an anointed and coronated queen of Democratic Party, something that was only available to Hillary Clinton. And I'm 100% sure Hillary Clinton must be wondering, what did I do wrong not to deserve this treatment as Kamala Harris is getting? So if you look at the history of the media, the soft media has always given the Democratic candidates, President and Kamala Harris, remarkably soft balls to hit out of the ballpark. And that is not hidden anymore. As we all know, we live in an instant world of communication, thanks to the facilitation given by technology, that we see everything now, need not necessarily by reading Washington Post or New York Times, but here, the platform is very clear. You can go back and see who is saying what in every scenario. So yes, politics is about winning the election. You go back and forth, you go up and down. So Trump coming on this platform is because of the fact that he was banned from this platform by the previous dispensation for whatever silly reason they had. So now he has the freedom of speech. He has returned to that platform, and this platform now has a completely revived the entire political dialogue in this country. So there is a platform that is willing to listen.
Vibhuti Jha, can I also ask you something? You know, you said that the Democrats and Kamala Harris is always given a softer treatment when we talk about issues. But let's talk about the issue of illegal immigration, which has taken center stage in the race to the White House. And Donald Trump spoke about it. But you've also witnessed protests across the United States in the past year, calling out the Biden administration for not doing much as regards to the illegal immigration. So where's the softer treatment for the Democrats?
You're asking me?
Yes,
Are you asking
Mr.
me
Jha.
this question? Is it for me? That's what I just want
Yes,
to check.
Mr. Jha, please go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, it is very important. The question here is that how Kamala Harris adopted the Republican agenda. For last so many years, 4 years, almost to the date, Republicans have been shouting about that. Now there are 20 million people come in. The media suddenly says that you can't avoid it. They did not question this for 3 years. They did not ask anything for 3 years. Now, because it is a hot issue, because even the black voters in Chicago and many areas are complaining about it, that the current level of immigration that has come about is more than populations of 20 different states in America. So there is a cost attached to that. There's a massive cost which you people like me are paying for it. It's nobody objects to immigration. The issue here is who is coming in and who is not, and who must come in. Because there is a process that needs to be followed. You cannot just walk in. I live in Long Island. It's known as the parking lot. The Long Island Expressway is known as the parking lot, the largest parking lot in the world. But if you put 2 million cars at the same time, it will have a problem. That's the problem which America is facing, not the immigration per se, the illegality of immigration. It's not about immigration itself, and that needs to be known very clearly.
Okay, Nicole, Donald Trump also talked about the two wars, the Russia-Ukraine war and the Israel-Hamas war. And he pointedly said that if he were the president, these two wars wouldn't have happened, squarely blaming the Biden administration for actually encouraging these two wars. Do you think that might go against the Kamala Harris and the Democratic campaign? Just the fact that during Donald Trump's previous tenure, there was no war that happened?
No, I mean, look, there is a very clear alliance happening between Donald Trump and Putin, and I think that should scare every American. I mean, the Biden administration has been absolutely firm in their belief that we need to support Ukraine, we need to stand up for them, and it's not just about Ukraine itself, it's about big D democracy across the world and what this means for it and a country invading like that. So this idea that Donald Trump's cozy with leaders like Putin or North Korea is terrifying. And I think that Americans realize that, and that what we need to be doing is what the administration has been doing right now, which is the financial and political support of Ukraine.
Okay, my last question, and a quick one at that, Vibhuti Jha, I'd like to understand from you. After this sort of a conversation that Donald Trump had with Elon Musk, he's reached out to voters online as well. Do you think that is going to positively impact the Republican campaign moving forward?
It will. Just two words, it will. Because it has opened up a very different kind of a conversation. Just to talk about this Russia thing and Trump being, comfortable and cozy with a North Korean chief and Putin. It is called in geopolitics, you need to know everybody. You need to know your enemy who you are dealing with. And when Trump said that there will be no war in his tenure, he was right. You can't deny that reality. And what is happening right now is a very sad and shameful strategy of Democratic Party that you are telling Ukraine to go win the war, funding them with all kinds of monies and weapons, but you are telling Israel, don't finish Hamas, which is quite a winnable war. Whereas this one is not a winnable war. That's the issue which people have begun to realize, that too much money is being wasted in Ukraine and the policies are warped at this point in time.
Okay. Let's see how this pans forward. This, pans out for both Democrats and Republicans. I have paucity of time. I'll have to leave it there. Nicole, I hope Kamala Harris eventually does join Elon Musk in that conversation, because the world would want to hear what she has to say as well, now that we've heard Donald Trump. But it's her choice, of course. We'll leave it there. Thank you very much to both of you, Nicole and Vibhuti Jha, for joining us on Mirror Now and sharing your perspectives.